G'day, it's Robbie again. Well, I just thought I'd give you a bit of a quick look at what's happening in the workshop. I don't normally do those sort of videos, but I thought, what the hell? I'm working on a project that I don't really want to be filming it while I'm doing it, because I've already had a couple of stuff-ups doing it, and you know, it's awkward when you're trying to film and do precision work at the same time. So this is just a general look around at what's happening, and what's happening is I'm working on an 860 GT Ducati 1975 bevel, which I've had since I was 28. I'm now 65. Yeah, I'm an old bastard, I know. And this and myself have been down the road a few times, pushing the envelope a little bit too hard, so it's got non-standard paint job and hand-cut Ducati decals I stuck on. And the motor blew up like they all do, you know, the Ducati bottom ends, the bevels always crap out eventually, and that one the same, so I rebuilt the engine. You know, she's a bit dusty and she's a bit rusty. But I'm working on the foot pegs, because when I built this originally, rebuilt this, it was a wreck. I mean, I paid $500 for this. Total, utter wreck. And I redid it all, and knew everything I could do on it and afford, but I only had trail bike foot pegs on the back, and they were pretty crappy, cheap shit things. I just put them on just to do the job. And I'm getting this back on the road, and I thought, oh, you know, some aluminium ones would be good. And so I started going down the road of sort of making up some aluminium ones, and anyway, I'll show you where I'm at with that. Also, in the background you can see my A5 F1, which I've had for, oh, what would that be? 25 years, I suppose, mate. Yeah, I only had that one 25 years. This one's nearly 40 years. Anyway, they're both good bikes, but they're totally different rides to experience, and yeah, there's your caddies, and well, you know, you either like them or don't. Okay, let's move on. So here's the job I'm doing, and what I've done is, this is the rear foot peg that I was talking about, and I've replaced the tinny, shitty, you know, centres with, in this case, stainless steel. I've machined up a stainless steel centre, and then they fold up like that. Quite clever, they just use the rubber as the spring, so it actually cams onto the ends, and as it goes up to the high point, it just squashes the rubber. And I originally started off with this thinking I'd use aluminium, and I made up an aluminium centre, but I wasn't sure how strong it was, so I fitted them on, and then I did the big jump test on it. I mean, it took my weight standing on it okay, but of course that's just standing. I thought, well, you know, I'm like, what's that, 13 stone. So I thought I'll jump up and down on them and see what happens, and it cracked. It cracked the aluminium, you could see, so I couldn't handle it. So I thought, well, you know, you can't take chances with this stuff. I don't want any pillion doing something stupid, standing up on the back, and then the peg snaps off and he falls off, or she falls off. So I switched across to stainless steel, which I had some good stainless stock laying around, and it machined up nicely. I had to have 2 goes at the first one I did, because on these you've got to get the holes right, and you've got to get the length right. And when I was trying to fit this, I buggered it up. I was trying to grind the end back to make it go through the swing, you know, the camming action, and I should have been grinding the face back, so I stuffed it up, so I had to redo it. So basically, I've done the one, I'm working on another one, and then the job will be finished. So I'm not videoing it, because when you're working on some of these jobs, trying to do a video and concentrate, and you know, it can be pretty damn annoying. So no video I'm making this, but I'll just show where I'm at and what the scenery looks like. But yeah, stainless, nice to work with, really nice to work with stainless steel. I mean, I don't use it very often, but it's beautiful stuff to work, I find anyway. I know some people have trouble with stainless, but I never have trouble with stainless, and not that I've done a lot of machining of it, but you can get a beautiful finish. I mean, look at that, and it's terrific. So we'll go over and look at the work area, and you can see where we're at. Well, here's the old Chinese lathe that does the bulk of the work. It's it's good because I can use carbide on that, and then when I want to do the stuff when I want to hold it in the collet, well then I use the old Shawblin, which is in the next part of the clip. And here's the old Shawblin, which I really like using, and it's so damn handy, this thing, because having it set up with collets all the time, and it's got a collet chuck I've made up where you can feed right through to the spindle, whereas the collet chuck that goes onto the Chinese lathe uses a drawbar, so you can't centre feed. This one actually, the original collets use a draw tube, which allows you to centre feed, but when you make up a separate screw on, or even a bolt up collet chuck with a through centre, it means you can feed all the way through the spindle, because you haven't got a draw tube in the way. And at the moment I've got the second pin here, peg centre, that I've machined up to length and everything, and now I've just got to machine back the end to the thickness I want. Put a chamfer on it, and I'll do all this with the Shawblin, and then it's a matter of drill a couple of holes for the pin to go through, and then just grind that angle on it that I showed you. But yeah, this old girl is just a lovely, lovely lathe to use, and you can see it does a lot of work. I mean, I see a lot of Shawblins, old Shawblins on the internet, and they're beautifully done up, but they look like they never get used because, you know, they're on a squeaky clean table, there's no oil, there's no mess, the dry belts look like brand new. I never ever see them cutting anything. It makes you wonder whether people actually that got these old lathes, most of them, whether they even use them, but I certainly use mine, and yeah, a handy, handy old girl. While you're here, I might as well start the old girl up and show you I'm not bullshitting you. A bit of oil on the old girl. So, we're having that second lathe is good, really good. It saves, you know, swapping over collet chucks and stuff. So this is stainless steel. You know, and even the lantern tool post holder, you know, they're quite good. I like them. They're good because you can easily set the centres up, you know, move them up and down. It's just on a, works on a cam, and some of them have a screw up base, but this one is the original. The original centre. I made a new bottom for it, and that was all knackered. But as you can see, the old girl's, you know, quite capable. And the stainless, really hard stuff. Anyway, that's just a quick demo of that. The old girl is earning its keep. Alright, I'll finish that off in a minute. You get the drift. I think with this lathe, you've got to remember that the lead screw, the cross slide thread works the reverse to the other lathe I've got, and you've got to be on the ball, or you could stuff up your work. Whether that was original or not, I doubt it. I think somebody swapped that over the years. And anyway, that's just one of the idiosyncrasies of this old stuff. But yeah, you can see from collet chuck it's done a lot of work, and the belts are all good and grubby. So yeah, this thing very handy machine. Well, over here we've got the Shawblin tailstock. That last old Shawblin I bought, I've been using this for centre boring those pegs, the stainless steel pegs. I've been lightening them, so you know, it was solid to begin with, but I've taken all the centres out to reduce weight. You don't need it anyway. Been using this thing, and she's magic. And here's the other part of that old Shawblin I picked up for $2.20. That's the headstock, which is all done up now. It's got some rust pitting on it, but I've cleaned it up, and that's as tight as a drum. So when the weather picks up, both of those are going to get a coat of black paint. I may swap that headstock across, I'm not sure, but when I was centreboarding, I was centreboard out to 1/2 inch in stainless, and the old Shoreman handled that no problem. Well, one of the foot pegs is finished and it's fitted. Turned out pretty good. Certainly looks a lot better than the original setup, and yeah, I'm pleased with that. So now it's just a matter of the other one. Well, the other one's on the way. I had to re-weld this end bit onto the bolt, because when I did the jump test, not only did I crack the aluminium, I snapped the bolt off the bracket. The welding wasn't very good on this one. The other one was alright, but this one was lacking a bit. Well, maybe I better lay off the beer a bit, putting on too much weight. But then again, nah, that doesn't sound like a good idea. So yeah, it's just a matter of now, let the paint dry. I've got the new pin made up, the other pin, you can see. And, you know, it turned out pretty good. Not bad for a backyarder. And it's just a matter of put it all back together, job done. So tomorrow I'll just finish it off, and that'll be it. So this is the end of the video. I will point out at this point of time, I'll give a shout out to old Brat Ryder. He gave a shout out to me. Why? Because old Brat Ryder has probably got the only bullfinch LPG torch in the USA. He actually bought one after seeing mine, and I hope he has a good run out of it. I'll point out, I mean, the bullfinch is a terrific gun for small stuff. You can't expect it to do what Oxy does, but it'll do a job like this, no problem. And if you want to extend its capabilities, you know, just use a second torch to add some boost, you know, preheat the job so that the higher flame temperature of the bullfinch torch can then do its job, do the actual hard bronze brazing itself. But yeah, I hope old Brat has a good run out of it, and it always makes me nervous when people buy stuff that I recommend, because I think, well, I hope they're not disappointed, and I hope, you know, it turns out okay for them. So, yep. Well, that's it, and I just thought I'd knock this up just to show where I'm at, and down the track I'll do something a bit more serious. Okay, cheers for now, see ya.